All right, San Diego State, they dropped this one to Utah State on the road. This was a tough one. It was a good win against New Mexico before this game. Like, it was the biggest game of the year last game. And then tonight, biggest game of the year. And the Aztecs showed up against New Mexico, and they were at home at Viejas. And here, not enough showed up. I mean, Jaden Ledee showed up for sure. But then you had players like Lamont Butler scoring 0 points. And you had Micah Parrish passing up an open three late there. That was just a... If you believe in the basketball gods in that kind of sequence there at the end were like, yeah, you don't deserve to win this game, so we're gonna show you like one sequence, one like minute time frame where this is why you don't deserve this game. If we want to describe the entire game to you in a short time frame, here it is. Passing up an open three, turnover, I believe, by Miles Bird. Best defense of the night on like one play. Miles Bird was included on that. Loose ball, 3, Utah State makes it. San Diego State was within 1. Jaden Ledee was putting this team on his back there, and didn't matter if there were 3 guys guarding him. It's all right, I'll just make the jumper. So he showed up. You know, he knew this was a huge game, and he showed up. Some of the guys on the bench played pretty well, but when you have Micah Parrish and Lamont Butler, 2 of your key players, 2 of your shooters on this team, and they come up extremely small, well, it's kind of hard to win, especially when you're playing on the road in that environment. I'll give props to the Utah State fan base. Some of the shots that CBS Sports was showing, I mean, that was pretty cool. That environment there today in Utah. And then when you have someone like Darius Brown, I think was his name, who looks like he's like 30, but he's, I think, 24. He scores 2 points against Colorado State in the game Utah State lost recently. And then tonight, he scores like 25, I want to say. Over 20 points, I know that. He was hitting like every 3 imaginable. And then there were a couple Utah State players that had almost 20-point nights. So, you know, Utah State was clicking. They were at home. Maybe this game would have turned out differently if San Diego State was the home team at Viejas and they had the crowd. And who knows? Maybe Utah State wouldn't have had that extra push emotionally. I don't know what goes on in every player's heads when they're playing at home like that, when you have the crowd behind you, but I would imagine it helps to have that. But yeah, San Diego State, like, that's been the worry for me, and it's not just me. It's been other Aztecs fans, obviously. The worry about this team is, what are they going to be on the road? They're a different team on the road than they are at Viejas. They haven't lost at Viejas. They beat New Mexico. They have, and on the road earlier in the year, like, they had some good neutral site wins. Obviously, they had that big win at Gonzaga. I think they beat Colorado State, right? On the road. Like, they've been able to have some road wins, but against New Mexico, against Utah State, some of these big Mountain West programs, they haven't been able to get the job done, and that's been a problem. And still, San Diego State, with this said, even with this loss tonight, they're still near the top of the Mountain West. They're still right there, right behind Utah State, but it feels like tonight's game was for the Mountain West. Coming up, you know, Utah State, the good news, I guess, for San Diego State is Utah State hasn't played New Mexico. That second game that San Diego State they've already played twice against New Mexico. We know New Mexico is tough. Utah State has not played that game yet, but Utah State, I mean, they can beat New Mexico. And I don't think, like, we're sitting here saying, yeah, New Mexico's definitely going to win that game. So San Diego State, they still have the ability to win the Mountain West regular season title, but with tiebreakers, right? I think the tiebreaker would go to Utah State with this win tonight. So it was a huge one, and it was a missed opportunity. They were down by 10, I think, in the second half. San Diego State was. They get it within 1, and they had that opportunity, and then it unraveled there. And they lost by, 5? Really lost by, 8. You know, the Miles Bird 3 at the end there. The game was over. So, you know, it wasn't as close as maybe the box score makes it seem. But, yeah, San Diego State, I think maybe it was the halftime graphics CBS Sports showed, 1 3-pointer, I believe, in the first half. 3-pointers, that's been an issue this season for the Aztecs. So sometimes it feels like they've got, I know if you have an open 3, take it. But sometimes try to find a better opportunity inside the arc when threes aren't going your way. When you don't have it, find another way. I mean, obviously there's situations where if the shot clock's down, you have an open three, you just trust your shot and you do it. But clearly it's an issue, and it feels like this is just what San Diego State is this year. They're just, three-pointers, they're just not going down, especially on the road. So we'll see if they adjust. We'll see, it feels like, right, whenever March comes around, like San Diego State, they switch that different gear, or at least they progress into playing much better basketball. And they are playing good basketball at times, like Avias Arena against New Mexico. But then there's times like tonight where they left opportunities out there. So frustrating loss, disappointing loss. If they lose the Mountain West in the regular season, they could go win, obviously, the tournament in Vegas. They're already in the tournament, the big tournament, I think, for sure. The resume, I mean, it's still a good resume. There's other teams in the country that would love to have the resume that San Diego State has. But with the high standard, these are really disappointing losses. And this is probably why San Diego State will lose the Mountain West, tonight, some of the road losses this year.